and I'm not sure what we're going to work on today. We were going to, I was thinking I might finish the necklace I started 2 weeks ago, but I have decided I want to go with chain for that, so that you can change the length if you want. But I'm not certain I'm happy with the chains that I have that would work for it. Yeah, that might work. Maybe we'll just do that. But I don't see that we have anybody on yet, so we'll just wait a while longer, see what if we get anybody on. Give it a few more minutes, and then we'll just start anyway. Hello. So I did make a few little changes to this necklace after we were off the air a couple weeks ago. So we will work on that. Hey, Cindy, how's it going? So anyway, like I said, we're going to finish off this necklace that we started a few weeks ago, the one with the big, pretty porcelain cactus. And then I'm not sure what we're going to do after that. I have a couple of ideas, but hi, Linda. And how am I doing? Oh, I'm feeling a crud load better than I was last week. Though I did have one episode of my blood sugar going way too low and getting pretty sick. But all in all, I've been good the last few days, been doing great. So no problems there. So that's always a good thing. So I'm not sure how long we're going to make this necklace. But like I said, I'm just going to put like, right now it's a little over 18 inches, almost 19. But I figured I'd put like 4 or 5 inches of chain up the back. And that way, whoever wears it can wear it longer or shorter, depending on how they feel about where it's landing on at. So, but yeah, as far as my health is concerned, I feel about 100% better than I did last week. So let's turn down. We'll finish this necklace up, and then we'll work on something else. So we're going to turn right now. Did we turn? Come on. No. There we go. So if you remember, here's our necklace. And it is, like I say, I think it's about 19 inches right now, which is a nice length, except for, yeah, it's 9.5, so that'd be, excuse me, 19. And I like the length, all right, but like I say, when we did it, this cactus is up higher than I wanted it to be on your shoulder. I wanted it to be a little lower. And the changes I made is I took out one of the blue beads here on either side. And then I took out the two, all but one of the little red jaspers down here. So not big changes, but it definitely changed how it was hanging a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a couple of crimp tubes out. We're going to put some chain on the one side, the lobster claw on the other. I like this chain from Beadalon. It's not quite as thick as I really wanted it to be, but it's not a bad chain. It's big enough links. I didn't want tiny links. Tiny links, I thought, well, number one, they're sort of harder to use our lobster claw with, but I thought it would make it, look too delicate up that end, since this is pretty substantial down here. So I didn't want to use a small chain. Hey, Susie. So what I'm going to do is just eyeball a few inches of chain, and then I'm going to cut it off. Now this chain actually had a break in it, so I could have actually just opened it up, but instead of cutting a link, but celery, no biggie. So anyway, there's our chain, and here's our lobster claw. Check it to make sure it's working, and it is. I'm going to get a so we'll get a couple of crimp tubes out. Oh, getting low on silver. I think I have another tube somewhere though. Now I got 4 crimps out, and you might wonder why, and that's because I am going to get another bead out. Probably one of these little guys if I can find it easily enough. And looks like it might be a no, I can't find it easily enough kind of thing. So see which other things something else we can put in there easily. Okay, got all kinds of the cactusy stuff, but I don't see the little red beads. Hey, Anita, how's it going? So, what I want to use, I'm not seeing, but on my mess, that's not really all that surprising. I don't see something, but I have another show coming up. I have one this weekend, but I've got everything I need for it. But the next show after that is a Celtic festival, and it is required of us that are participating that we have a quarter to a third of our pieces, preferably closer to a third of our pieces, have a Celtic theme. So I do need to work on some things for that. I really, really wanted to do something here, and I'm not finding the beads I want so that I can do it. So I may just do a little switch up here. What I want to do is I want to double crimp that at the top because this is a little bit heavy. But I'm not finding the bead I want to use for. I tend to take, when I do a double crimp, what I do is I crimp 2 with a bead in between, and I just drop something on the ground, but I'll find it later. So I was hoping for either a carnelian or one of the, to find a small carnelian, and I know I have them because I had some just the other day. Or if not a carnelian, then one of these little red rondelles. But for some reason, I'm not finding the bag that those things were in. Instead, I'm finding just about everything else under the sun, which is sort of weird, but you know, it's the way it goes. So instead of one of those, maybe what we'll put in its place is there they are. There they are. I have a whole bunch of them right beside me here of the bags from the bargain bead box, which I really, really need to put in the case that I keep them in, but they're not in there, obviously. So, okay, so there's a couple of the little rondelles. And we'll just open one of these up and put a crimp tube rondelle. On you go. And a crimp tube. Now, one of the things you got to check when you're doing this kind of thing is to make sure that your crimp or your wire will go through your middle bead twice. There it will, no problem. So since we're just doing one side first, we'll just push this guy up to the top. And on this side, I'm going to do this one first. Now, since I'm going to attach things with jump rings, I'm not going to worry about getting that in yet. So crimp one. Push this baby up. Now we've got our other crimp right here. So it's gonna make us leave a gap because the pliers are not going to go all the way up to the bead with the when it crimps, and that's all right. It's going to get close. Of course, if you don't have magical crimpers, you can use any crimper you want. Now I'm going to trim some of this extra wire off because I know it'll go through some of those beads, but it doesn't need to go through all of them. So now we'll push this baby through here, slide her around to the other side. Sure she's down there all the way. Now I got a lot of extra wire here, and that's fine. So anyway, you want to do the exact same thing on this side, though there's one difference. And that is, of course, you're finishing now. You can't leave that extra space like I did on the other side when we were working. So we gotta go through our crimp, through our other crimp, and through to here. And I'm going to pull her tight. Bring all our beads down. Pull it up again. Now on this side, there's one difference. You don't do that first side first. You do the second one, the middle one here. And the reason for that is because your pliers need some room to get in here. Oh, come here, you. And see how it wanted to grab on both places when it went in. So we want to get in here between the two, get it in. It's trying to grab that spacer again. Okay. Pull that so it's tight. Don't pull it so tight that it comes out though. You need to have that space there for your jump ring. Okay. And swoosh. Turn. And this jump ring is looking a little ugly in here. Or I should say my crimp tube. I think it went up to one side a little bit. If I decide that's too ugly and I have extra space in my wire, I'll put a crimp cover right there. So now just push these guys down where they need to be. Then you make sure you're up here just that little hair so that this will go in the crimp pliers fine. And then crimp here. Now I'm going to cut my extra wire off here. Now I put it between the two that are going opposite directions because number one, I didn't want it in the curve of one of them when it comes down. And number two, when it goes together, because I know it'll go through this one, it's going to go through this one, so it'll slide over there. So let's see if we left ourselves a ton of room here. I don't think we did. A little bit, but not much. Come here, you. Let go of your cactus. So now that we've got that done, we'll take and hook our chain on here. Sorry, I haven't been paying attention to you guys. Now this is the medium size of the oval jump ring. And I believe I tested this lobster claw before I started. Let's make sure I did. Yeah, it's fine. So now, because I put this big chain on here, you can put the lobster claw anywhere and bring our cactus down to any point you want it to be at, as far as when you're wearing it. So now the only other thing I am going to do to this is I like a pretty on the bottom of my chains, and one of the things I've been using lately, well, if I've got one here, I don't appear to, but I like to take one of these prettier spacers and just jump ring it on at the bottom, and it makes a pretty little decoration here. Now for this one, I'm using a bigger jump ring because it has to go from the center here to up to the chain. So we'll go oops. Would have swore I had it in the middle there. Guess not. There we go. Now this is going to get a little tricky because all those little bumps and things in your spacer are going to try and keep you from closing this. So just work your way around them. Oh, that went easier than I expected it to. So now my chain has a cute little daisy dangle at the bottom there. So there we go. We finished our necklace up. Now, like I said, if you've got a lot of extra space here and you feel that you need, especially right here, because this one's sort of squooshed, you need something there, you can always put in a crimp cover. Not a big one in this case because but I'm not sure there's enough space to put one on either side, which you would want to do. Oops, you went sideways on me. Let's see here. This one, there's definitely enough space. See how I've left a pretty good sized gap there. But I'm not sure about the other side. So we want to check the other side first, not that side, this side, to see if it's got enough room. And it looks like it might. Come on, go in there. Go, close her up. Now, this one on this side would take a bigger, not if I throw it on the floor, it won't, cover, but the other side won't. So you got to work with what you've got. And you're being difficult. There, so now that doesn't look so sloppy since I messed that crimp tube up just a little bit. So there we go. Oh, is a little sloppy. Still needs to go squish in this way some. I just noticed. There we go. And now we are definitely finished. Hey, PK. Yeah, I got a little bit of a rough throat. I probably just need to drink some water. Sorry you're having a day. But anyway, there is our necklace that we started the other day, all finished. Though I'm thinking I may switch the jump ring and the chain and the lobster claws sides to the other side, just because I think I prefer the chain being on the side where the cactus is. And that's just a personal preference. You don't have to have it anyway, like, any particular way. It's just I want it that way, because that way we've got all the chain coming from the side the cactus is on. So I'm going to switch these two around. Only take a second, obviously, as we all know. Unhook you. And now we'll just pull this one open. Come here, you. And I should have paid attention to this when I did it, and that's why we have things where we can open and close them again. So now this one's going to go over on this side. Now, though, with jump rings, you don't want to open and close them too much. It weakens them every time you do. So, oh, come on. You're being sat up a little bit more, sitting yourself up sideways there. We don't want that. There we go. Now, see, I think I like the chain better on this side over here, like I say, because if it's going to slide down and be more visible, I'd just as soon it was on the side with the cactus. So there we go. There's our necklace, all finished from 2 weeks ago when I first got sick. So anyway, all done. For those of you who came in a little later, as I said, I took out the two of the little rondelles from down here that I had in, and one of the blue beads on either side, so that the pattern wasn't messed up too horribly. So, but we still have our blue in there to bring that color forward. So I think that turned out really nicely. I like it. So there we go. Hey, Jenny. Thanks, ladies. So anyway, like I say, this way, because I put in the extender chain up the back, it could go all the way up to here, making this be able to be worn long as 24 inches. So I like this cactus piece. I actually was hoping they'd have some extras, but they didn't. When I checked, there was no cactus pieces, which is a pity, but it is what it is. So anyway, there's that. We'll set that aside for right now. And this is my box with all my Celtic stuff in it. I need to, there it is. One of the things that they ask us to do when we do this Celtic festival is donate one item for a prize for the clan games. If you've ever been to a Celtic festival, they have the Scottish Highland games, like the caber toss and that kind of fun stuff like that. And so then they have prizes for the people. And so they ask everyone to donate a prize from their booth. And I am thinking because there's both women and men in the so I want to have something that's going to could go for a man or a woman. So I figured I'd use this Celtic cross and just make it into a really simple necklace. See, it's a pewter one, one of the ones I got from Randy Brown at Thunder Horse Descendant. So I'm just deciding which chain to put on it, because I'm just going to put chain on it. Normally, I would decorate my chain in some way, but this can go for a man or a woman. So I don't want to get it to be too feminine. So I've got this heavier chain. I'm not sure this, well, it should. This loop is big. Yeah, it'll go on fine. So because that is pretty substantial charm, I figured this chain might be best. Though I do have some thinner chains that I could use instead. Like this one. This one is one of the chains from Bargain Bead Box. So there's the heavy chain. That actually might even be too heavy. And this is the thinner chain. What do you guys think? The heavy or the thin? I'm thinking, I'm leaning towards actually the lighter chain. I'm thinking this heavy chain is cool and it works all right, but I think it sort of overpowers my Celtic knot here. And I think if it were to go to a woman rather than a man, that chain would just be too heavy for a woman. Yeah, Nina, I'm leaning towards the thinner too. So let's put our heavier chain away. Yep, Susie. Everybody who's commented so far has said the lighter chain, so I think that's probably what we're going to do. I like it better. I think it could go. It's more likely to go for either sex. So I think that's the better one. Now, the other thought is, how long do we want to make this? Because I know men's necks can definitely be thicker than women's. I would normally make this about 18 or 19 inches, but I'm not sure that I shouldn't make it 20. I don't make a lot of men's jewelry, so I'm just not real sure. Though I have made for my husband before, and he's all right with, usually with 18 or 19 inches. But at one time I used to work in a department store in menswear, and I know that like the collars for your shirts can go anywhere from like 15, 16 inches up to 19 or 20. So I'm thinking we'll definitely make it 18. We get with our lobster claw and stuff, it will go a little bit bigger than that. But 20 with an extender. That might be a good idea. So let's go with the 20. I'll cut it right here. Get my heavy duty clippers because I think this may be steel chain, but I'm not positive. Get our chain back in our baggie. But this did come from Beadbox Bargain, so a lot of their chain is. So there's our little simple necklace. We got our lobster claw here. Let's test it. It's working just fine, which is good. I'm not sure if it will go in these links or not. I think it probably will. won't go in these links. So it needs an extender chain that it will go through. I have a little piece of chain for some reason sitting right beside me here in this envelope. This is way longer than I'd want for an extender chain, maybe just a couple inches of it. But the lobster claw will definitely go through it because the links are a different size. So I think we'll just grab a couple of inches of this chain, put the rest back in its little baggie. Don't ask me how much this is because I haven't measured it, but it's obviously at least 2. So, bing. Now we need some jump rings to put everything together. Just 2. I need to make some more earrings, but I'm wanting to make some that are small. And I do have a lot more of my marble. So I was thinking just like maybe 1 or 2 pieces of marble. Because it is from Ireland, I consider that Celtic, so I'm not real concerned with it having a decorate, one of the knots or something like that on it. I need to make all kinds of things, though. Anklets, earrings, bracelets. Because even though I make lots of those things, very few of them have a Celtic theme to them, so I need to make them have a Celtic theme. Now, I could have used one of the bigger jump rings here to put the chain on, but I decided it didn't really matter. So, very simple little necklace here. Now, I'm questioning myself as to whether I want to put you know what? I usually do want a dangle, but it doesn't have to be pretty dangle. Well, they're always pretty, but see my pretties that I got from the last of the tiara castings? I like this. I'm going to make a button bracelet out of this for but what I was looking for in here was, I know I have, if I can find which baggie they're stuffed into. I have so many, obviously. I gather Celtic stuff up during the year so that there they are. Nope, that's a connector. I know I have ones that are just little, straight little, that one would work if I needed to. Well, so would the other one, but I'm looking for just a little 4-leaf clover. I know I have some. Do you guys ever do things for these themed things like this? Where are you, little clovers? Or I should say shamrocks. They're not clovers. Call them the right thing. And as you can see, I have lots of stuff. Though I don't want to use one of the tiara cast pieces because they're, as you know, quite expensive. Especially now since you can't get them anymore. I don't want a heart. I may just go with one of those little connectors that with the 4-leaf clover, with the shamrock, and because that will work. It just has, up you go. Just has, it's a connector. It has two rings instead of just one. But if I wanted to get cutesy, I could wind up one of my little pieces of marble to put down at the bottom too. Or I could just cut the other ring off and sand it down. But I think we're just going to put this on here right now, and I actually do 2 Celtic festivals, one up here in the Flathead, but the one I'm doing in a little less than 2 weeks is down in the Bitterroot, which is just south of Missoula, which is, well, PK knows because she's from Montana, but it's about 150 miles south of me. So anyway, there's this one with this, and I think that we will add ooh, what did I drop? Oh, that's right. I dropped something on the floor earlier. I just stepped on it. It's some of the cathedral beads. Anyway, it's my Connemara marble. Well, some of it. I want the tiny ones. There's the one I want right there. As you can see, this comes directly from Ireland to me. I order it from Ireland, so this is actually all marble from Ireland. They have 4 different styles of. They have 4 different colors of marble in Ireland, but the Connemara green, of course, is the most well known. Cool. So I think I'll get one of my little 4mm marble beads out here. Whoop. Well, there was one that wanted to come. There we go. So I've got it, the Connemara in 4, 6, 8mm, and then rice and coins. So since the green is the most popular color, or most well known, of course, that's the color that the style I use the most, though they also have black, red, and white. And they all come from different districts. So that's an interesting little side fact. Come on, I need a wire. Well, I didn't want to use one of my big ones, but I don't see some smaller ones, so we'll go with one of the big ones. So we're just going to take this little baby, put it on here, and then we'll wrap it up and hang it down here from the And I'm just going to hardwire it in. I'm not going to jump ring it, this one. We're just going to put her on here. So we want to leave that gap so we can pull that onto there. Come on, go on. There we go. Now, you're not as likely to break the marble as you are a glass bead, but I will warn you that this marble will scratch. So if you ever want to use marble for there we go. So our top is leaning a little bit sideways, see? So I'm going to straighten that up some. It's better. And there's our little shamrock and Connemara marble dangle from off of our necklace. So there we go, one simple necklace with an extender and a pretty. So necklace number 2, though this one was very, very simple and the other one had actually been started, so technically not a big deal. So what I was saying earlier, though, when I said something about making some little earrings, I was thinking of taking, I don't think we want to use that smaller one though, but I only need 2. See, these all come with a certificate of authenticity with my marble beads. So two of these guys. Come on, guys. A couple of you come out. And that one's really dark. I wonder if I can get a lighter one to come out, because I don't want the really dark one with the others, because they're all more of a consistent color there. Here's one. And if you wanted to, I could take and put one of the little clover connectors in between, like so. Which actually wouldn't be too bad for a pair of earrings. They're not very big and they're cute. Hey, Kimberly. So, though my original thinking was I would take a crystal spacer, these have gunmetal on them, and just put between my little marble and make us a really cute tiny pair of earrings. And I don't really make tiny earrings very often, But you know, some people like the tinier ones, and so we'll make a tiny pair of earrings for those folks who like tinier earrings. So we'll just, I wonder if I have one here. Yes, I do. This is definitely not needed, but I'm going to do it anyway. Take you guys out. We'll make something with you later. I'm going to put a little daisy spacer at the bottom with the, there's your hole. See, really simple, tiny little pair of earrings. But like I say, there's always folks that like smaller earrings, unlike me, who has to have really long ones. So there, we'll just put those on some ear wires. See, here's my ear wires. I always check my ear wires, make sure they're working good, just like my lobster claws, because just like your lobster claws, these have a spring in them. Well, technically it's not a spring, it's just a little piece of metal, like the metal that goes in your pliers and such. And we all know the pliers can break. I've broken them before with my little piece in here. And that is what the mechanism in your earrings are also. So I'm going to jump ring these in with some Tinky Tots. So I'm just gonna up and over and around, bring it over, bring it around, lollipop it. Same with this one. Like I say, be sort of careful with your marble because it can scratch. Now we're going to wrap these two up. Ah. Oh, thanks, Kimberly. They are cute, aren't they? Can't remember where I got those. Have to see if I can remember. The packaging tells me it wasn't Beadbox Bargains, but I'm not sure where it was. Like I said, whenever I'm looking for things and I see some Celtic, what I would consider Celtic things like the clovers and the knots and stuff, I tend to lap them up because I do have these two Celtic festivals that I do, and the flathead one isn't as adamant about the specifics of your items being, but the Bitterroot one is very, very picky about it. They want you to have, like I said, either from a quarter to a third, and they prefer it closer to the third than to the quarter. So one of those things that now, because this one, some people could look at it and go, well, that's not Celtic, except for that it is, because you're not going to get Irish marble anywhere else besides Ireland. So what's more Celtic than Ireland? So we go. We'll get a couple of little jump rings, hook those together, and we have a really pretty little pair of earrings. I'm going to use Tinky Tots on these because they don't need much to put them together. And since there's no specific front or back, you don't have to worry about that either. Though, if you want to, you can always worry about where is that break in my wire. Um, it's better if you can get it to the back, to be truthful with you. Then people won't see it as easily. That does not feel like it went together right. There we go. So there's the first of our little earrings. Put the second one together. There we go. One little pair of Connemara marble earrings. So, I think we had a pretty productive day. We finished our necklace from 2 weeks ago. Okay, I'm going to bring those things back in for those folks who weren't here when we made them. I think I'll make those little earrings I showed you a minute ago with the little connectors in them. We made these cute little earrings just now. We finished up our necklace from the other day, 2 weeks ago, before I got sick. Now, for those of you who were late and didn't see, I took out two of the rondelles on either side and one of the blue beads to bring it down this way further. Then I switched the blue beads up above to just one so that it would continue the pattern better, and then finished it up. And then when we finished this, I did a double crimp since it is pretty much stone, so it's a little heavier. I don't think it's so heavy that it actually needed it, but I do that sometimes when I make a heavier stone necklace, do a double crimp. So there's the double crimp. I did put a crimp cover on the bottom of these two crimps, the the lower one, primarily because I messed one of the crimps up, and even though was gonna hold fine, it was messy looking, and I didn't care for that. So I put crimp cover on that, and we've got chain here up the back. Not a lot, but it's enough to make this necklace be 24 inches if you're up at the end. And I put this little daisy spacer on here as a pretty. I like them pretty at the end of my. And then we made this little necklace, which I am going to give as one of the prizes at the Celtic Festival in 2 weeks. And to finish it up, we put this little dangle with Connemara marble and the shamrock at the bottom of its extender chain. So there's that. So that's our day's work. Finished this, made these. So let's turn up because we only got a couple minutes before the end of the day anyway. So I'll be flipping this right now. Hey, Bonnie. Come on, flip. There we go. So, like I say, these are little earrings, very tiny, not something I would wear. But, and then, like I say, this is the one, the Celtic Festival, they always request that we give a prize for for the the Highland Games that they do. And so we made this to be the prize. And since it's got both men and women, I made it so it was sort of unisex. And we put a little extender chain with the clover and Connemara marble. So that's that necklace. And of course, we finished our cactus. I love the cactus too, Kimberly. I think it's gorgeous. And frankly, That was Kimberly that said she was hoarding her cactus, right? I I actually looked to see if we could find if I could find another one, and they did not have any on the site. So let's see. Of course, my hair's in the way. It's cooler these days, so I haven't been putting it up as quickly as I have been in the past. But, okay, so there's the bottom, and see now it's a little lower like I wanted it to be. Not quite so high up on because it's not quite, well, I guess it's right at my clavicle. So let's see if we can back up so we can see how it looks. No, they didn't post any leftovers. I checked as soon as they said leftovers were up, and there weren't any. So I think it's I pretty well like where it's at. I think that's at the end of the extender though. So if I wanted it even longer, I would have to add some more chain, which I do have more, so it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But I think it turned out nicely. So thanks. So there's the necklace that like I said, we started it a few weeks ago before I got sick, and then we didn't get it finished, so we just finished it. If I can find the lobster claw so I can take it back off. It is at the end of its extender chain where I hooked it though. So if we wanted it longer, we would have to see it's right here. I would have to add some more chain yet, which of course, like I said, I could do. I do have more of this type of chain. So if I wanted to make it be bigger, we could add some more chain to it. But there we go. So I think we've had a pretty productive day. Finished one necklace that we'd already got started and made an entirely another one, even though it was simple, and a simple pair of little earrings. So I hope everybody had a good time with me making these today. Like I said, probably the next few videos that I do are going to be making some kind of Celtic item because I do need to make some for the festival. Though I do have both the Just Peachy and the Sunset Splendor kits from Softlex that I need to work on, and I haven't done much with Bargain Beatbox other than this one from the last set, and a lot of this is from the companion bundle. But and I know the next Bargain Beatbox is on its way because I just got the message. So I'm like, ooh, I got too much stuff to do. So anyway, I'm going to go since we're over our hour by a few minutes, and we'll see you later. This has been Rose from In Rose's Garden. Bye-bye.